question of whether the National Electrical Code, or NEC, should include a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, requirement for electric water heaters has been a topic of discussion for several years. Currently, the NEC does not mandate GFCI protection for these appliances. However, let's examine the arguments both for and against this potential requirement. Firstly, increased safety is a primary argument in favor of requiring GFCIs. These devices are designed to rapidly detect and interrupt electrical current in the event of a ground fault, significantly reducing the risk of electrocution. Secondly, protection for vulnerable individuals such as children and the elderly is another compelling reason. Those with compromised immunity or who spend extended periods in contact with water are at a heightened risk of electrocution. Thirdly, reduced liability is also a potential benefit. Requiring GFCIs for electric water heaters could help protect property owners and businesses from potential lawsuits related to electrical accidents. However, there are also arguments against mandating GFCIs for electric water heaters. Firstly, false tripping can be a concern. GFCIs may sometimes trip unnecessarily, causing inconvenience and potential loss of hot water. Secondly, increased cost is a factor. Adding GFCIs to electric water heater installations would increase the initial expense. Thirdly, some argue that GFCIs are unnecessary for modern heaters. Manufacturers have made improvements to the safety of electric water heaters in recent years, thereby reducing the risk of ground faults. Considering a specific incident, an electrocution occurred due to a lack of bonding of the heater casing. This underscores the crucial role of proper grounding and bonding. If the heaters had been correctly bonded, the current would have been directed to the ground wire, preventing it from flowing through the water. Analyzing the information, it becomes evident that while the NEC does not currently require GFCIs for electric water heaters, incorporating such a requirement could enhance safety measures. The described incident emphasizes the potential dangers of inadequate grounding and bonding. Determining whether to include a GFCI requirement for electric water heaters in the NEC is a complex issue that warrants thorough consideration of the presented arguments. To arrive at the most appropriate solution, further research and analysis would be necessary. GFCIs function by monitoring the current flowing to and from an appliance or electrical circuit. If there's an imbalance, indicating that current is leaking to ground, the GFCI quickly trips the circuit, cutting off power and preventing electrical shock. For water heaters, a ground fault could occur if there's a failure in the heating element or wiring within the unit, causing the metal casing to become energized. Without proper grounding and bonding, and without GFCI protection, this energized casing could pose a significant electrocution hazard, especially if someone comes into contact with the water and the grounded object simultaneously. Bonding, in electrical terms, refers to the practice of connecting all metallic parts of an electrical system together to create a low-impedance path for fault current. This ensures that if a fault occurs, the current will quickly flow back to the source, tripping the circuit breaker or fuse and energizing the circuit. In the case of a water heater, bonding the metal casing to the grounding system of the building is crucial. This is typically achieved by connecting a grounding conductor from the water heater's metal casing to a nearby grounding electrode, such as a metal water pipe or a ground rod. Grounding, on the other hand, refers to connecting the electrical system to the earth. This provides a reference point for voltage and helps to stabilize the electrical system. Grounding also plays a role in providing a path for fault current to flow back to the source. The combination of grounding and bonding creates a comprehensive safety system that minimizes the risk of electrical shock. In the incident described, the absence of bonding allowed the heater casing to become energized without tripping the circuit breaker. This created a dangerous situation where the water in the baptismal became a conductor, and anyone who came into contact with the water and a grounded object was at risk of electrocution. The microphone, in this case, provided the ground path, leading to the electrocution. The fact that another person experienced a shock when they grabbed the microphone further emphasizes the severity of the situation. A properly installed GFCI would have detected the ground fault and tripped the circuit, preventing the electrocution. Even with proper grounding and bonding, a GFCI can provide an additional layer of protection. In situations where the grounding system is compromised or if there's a high resistance ground fault, a GFCI can still trip the circuit and prevent injury. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It's updated every 3 years to reflect advancements in technology and to address emerging safety concerns. The process of adding or modifying requirements in the NEC involves proposals submitted by individuals, organizations, and industry experts. These proposals are then reviewed by code-making panels, which consist of subject matter experts who evaluate the technical merits of the proposals and their potential impact on safety. The code-making panels then make recommendations to the NEC Correlating Committee, which oversees the entire code-making process. The Correlating Committee ensures that the NEC is consistent, clear, and enforceable. After the code-making panels and the Correlating Committee have completed their work, the proposed changes are published for public review and comment. This allows anyone to provide feedback on the proposed changes before they are finalized. The final version of the NEC is then published and adopted by state and local jurisdictions. The NEC is not a law itself, but it's often adopted into law by state and local governments. This means that compliance with the NEC is mandatory in many areas. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, bonding, and equipment installation. It also includes specific requirements for certain types of occupancies, such as healthcare facilities, swimming pools, and hazardous locations. In the context of electric water heaters, the NEC addresses issues such as wiring methods, overcurrent protection, and grounding. However, as mentioned earlier, it does not currently require GFCI protection for these appliances. The decision of whether to add a GFCI requirement for electric water heaters would involve a careful consideration of the potential benefits and drawbacks, as well as the technical feasibility and cost-effectiveness of such a requirement. The incident described highlights the importance of adhering to the NEC and following best practices for electrical safety. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for preventing electrical shock, and GFCIs can provide an additional layer of protection. When installing or maintaining electrical equipment, it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the work is done safely and in accordance with the NEC. Electric shock can have serious consequences, ranging from minor burns to cardiac arrest and death. The severity of the shock depends on several factors, including the amount of current flowing through the body, the path of the current, and the duration of the shock. Even a small amount of current can be dangerous, especially if it flows through the heart. Water is a good conductor of electricity, which is why the risk of electrocution is higher in wet environments. When someone comes into contact with energized water, the current can easily flow through their body, causing electrical shock. The human body's resistance to electricity varies depending on several factors, including the moisture content of the skin and the presence of any cuts or abrasions. Dry skin has a higher resistance than wet skin, which is why it's important to avoid contact with water when working with electricity. The path of the current through the body also affects the severity of the shock. If the current flows through the heart or brain, it can be particularly dangerous. Electrical burns are another common injury associated with electric shock. These burns can occur when the current passes through the skin, causing tissue damage. Electrical burns can be very deep and may require extensive medical treatment. In some cases, electric shock can lead to cardiac arrest, which is a sudden loss of heart function. Cardiac arrest can be fatal if not treated immediately. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, can help to restore heart function and improve the chances of survival. GFCIs are designed to prevent electrical shock by quickly interrupting the circuit when a ground fault occurs. They work by monitoring the current flowing to and from an appliance or electrical circuit. If there's an imbalance of as little as 5 milliamps or 0.5 amps, the GFCI will trip the circuit, cutting off power and preventing electrical shock. GFCIs are required in many areas of the home, including bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor locations. They are also commonly used in industrial and construction settings to protect workers from electrical hazards. There are two main types of GFCIs: receptacle type GFCIs and circuit breaker type GFCIs. Receptacle type GFCIs are installed in place of standard electrical outlets. They have a test button and a reset button that allow you to verify that the GFCI is working properly. Circuit breaker type GFCIs are installed in the electrical panel. They provide GFCI protection for an entire circuit. When a GFCI trips, it's important to identify the cause of the ground fault before resetting the device. If you're not sure what caused the GFCI to trip, it's best to call a qualified electrician to investigate the problem. To test a GFCI receptacle, you can press the test button. This should cause the GFCI to trip, cutting off power to the outlet. To restore power, you can press the reset button. If the GFCI doesn't trip when you press the test button, it may be defective and should be replaced. When choosing a GFCI, it's important to select one that's rated for the intended use. GFCIs are available in different amperage ratings to protect circuits of varying sizes. It's also important to choose a GFCI that's listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or UL. This ensures that the GFCI meets safety standards and has been tested for performance and reliability. In addition to GFCIs, there are other safety devices that can help to prevent electrical shock, such as arc-fault circuit interrupters, or FSIs. FSIs are designed to protect against arc faults, which are dangerous electrical conditions that can lead to fires. Arc faults occur when there's an unintentional electrical discharge between two conductors. This can happen when wires are damaged or when connections are loose. FSIs work by monitoring the electrical current in the circuit and detecting the unique characteristics of an arc fault. When an arc fault is detected, the FSI trips the circuit, cutting off power and preventing a fire. FSIs are required in many areas of the home, including bedrooms, living rooms, and dining rooms. They are particularly important in areas where there are a lot of electrical cords and appliances. The NEC also includes requirements for surge protection. Surge protection devices, or SPDs, are designed to protect electronic equipment from voltage surges. Voltage surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, and other electrical disturbances. SPD work by diverting excess voltage away from sensitive electronic equipment, preventing damage. SPD are available in different types, including whole house SPD and point of use SPD. Whole house SPD are installed at the electrical panel and provide surge protection for the entire home. Point of use SPD are plugged into electrical outlets and provide surge protection for individual devices. When choosing an SPD, it's important to select one that's rated for the voltage and current of the electrical system. It's also important to choose an SPD that's listed by a recognized testing laboratory. Electrical safety is a critical concern, and it's important to take steps to protect yourself and your family from electrical hazards. By following the NEC and using safety devices such as GFCIs, FSIs, and SPD, you can significantly reduce the risk of electrical shock and fire. Always consult with a qualified electrician when installing or maintaining electrical equipment. Electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to work with someone who has the knowledge and experience to do the job safely. Regular electrical inspections can help to identify potential hazards and ensure that your electrical system is in good working order. If you notice any signs of electrical problems, such as flickering lights, sparking outlets, or burning smells, it's important to have them investigated by an electrician as soon as possible. Don't attempt to repair electrical problems yourself unless you're a qualified electrician. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take the necessary precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock. Always turn off the power to a circuit before working on it. You can do this by switching off the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that controls the circuit. Use insulated tools when working with electricity. Insulated tools have a rubber coating that helps to prevent electrical shock. Wear rubber gloves and safety glasses when working with electricity. Rubber gloves will protect your hands from electrical shock, and safety glasses will protect your eyes from sparks and debris. Be aware of your surroundings when working with electricity. Make sure that you're not standing in water or touching any grounded objects. Keep children and pets away from electrical work areas. Educate yourself about electrical safety. There are many resources available online and in libraries that can teach you about electrical safety. By taking the time to learn about electrical safety, you can help to protect yourself and your family from electrical hazards. In conclusion, the decision of whether to require GFCI protection for electric water heaters is a complex one with valid arguments on both sides. While the NEC does not currently mandate this requirement, the potential safety benefits, particularly in vulnerable populations and situations with compromised grounding, warrant careful consideration. The incident described underscores the importance of proper grounding and bonding, and the potential for GFCIs to provide an additional layer of protection against electrical shock. Further research, analysis, and discussion are necessary to determine the most appropriate and effective approach to ensuring electrical safety in water heater installations. Remember, electrical safety is paramount, and consulting with qualified electricians and adhering to the NEC are essential for preventing accidents and protecting lives. The NEC serves as a guide for safe electrical installations, but it's not a substitute for good judgment and common sense. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity, and don't hesitate to seek professional help when needed. By working together, we can create a safer environment for everyone. Furthermore, advancements in water heater technology, such as self-resetting thermostats and improved insulation, have also contributed to enhanced safety and energy efficiency. These innovations, combined with proper installation and maintenance practices, can further minimize the risk of electrical hazards and ensure the reliable operation of water heaters. In addition to the technical aspects of electrical safety, it's also important to consider the human element. Electrical accidents often occur due to human error, such as improper wiring, inadequate grounding, or failure to follow safety procedures. Therefore, education and training are crucial for preventing electrical accidents. Electricians, contractors, and homeowners should all be aware of the potential hazards associated with electricity and the steps they can take to mitigate those risks. Regular safety meetings, on-the-job training, and public awareness campaigns can help to promote a culture of safety and reduce the incidence of electrical accidents. Moreover, ongoing research and development are essential for improving electrical safety technologies and practices. By investing in research and development, we can create new and innovative solutions that will further enhance electrical safety and prevent injuries and fatalities. This includes developing more effective GFCIs, AFCIs, and SPD, as well as improving grounding and bonding techniques. Collaboration between industry, government, and academia is crucial for driving innovation and ensuring that electrical safety technologies and practices are based on the latest scientific knowledge. In addition to the technical and human factors, it's also important to consider the economic implications of electrical safety. While safety is always a top priority, it's also important to ensure that electrical safety measures are cost-effective and do not impose an undue burden on consumers or businesses. This requires a careful balancing of the potential benefits of electrical safety measures with their associated costs. Cost-benefit analysis can be used to evaluate the economic impact of electrical safety measures and to determine whether they are justified. Ultimately, the goal is to create an electrical system that is both safe and affordable for everyone. The increasing use of renewable energy sources, such as solar and wind power, is also creating new challenges for electrical safety. Renewable energy systems often involve complex wiring and grounding configurations, and it's important to ensure that these systems are installed and maintained safely. The NEC includes specific requirements for renewable energy systems, and it's essential to follow these requirements to prevent electrical hazards. As renewable energy becomes more prevalent, it's also important to educate the public about the safe use of these systems. This includes providing information about the potential hazards associated with renewable energy and the steps they can take to protect themselves from electrical shock. In conclusion, electrical safety is a multifaceted issue that requires a comprehensive approach. By addressing the technical, human, and economic factors, and by embracing innovation and collaboration, we can create a safer electrical system for everyone.